hope you enjoy this video. Time to dive into the book.
Hello, this is Jessica with On a Stack of Books, and today's video is my weekly reading wrap-up. And I finished a couple of books and made progress on a couple of books. So the first one, my daughter and I, we finished The Magician's Elephant by Kate DiCamillo, and it was not great. It was not good. She didn't like it. I didn't particularly care for it. These are my daughter's words, but you know, she was like, we could have done without the magician and the elephant, and we could have basically had the same story. Which I think you can imagine takes up a large part of the story. But it was so odd, the magician and the elephant. It was so odd, and you just question, yeah, did it have to be in there? Did it have to be that? Could it have been something else? And I mean, the ending was sweet, but yeah, not her best. So I don't know. But we finished it. Next, I read Tender is the Flesh. This was for Horror Mayhem and for my in-person book club. We had horror genre, and this is where there is a virus that contaminates animal meat, and it is no longer safe for human consumption. So they start to slaughter humans and eat them. And not only that, but they start to raise them like cattle, and you know, sell them and mark which ones are higher quality. There is a lot of very uncomfortable parts in this book. The ending definitely shocked me. I didn't see that coming, and it was interesting. As shocking and unsettling as the idea was and the book was, I would say the amount of graphic description was minimal. I was expecting a lot more gruesomeness just because of the nature of the story, but our main character, we were more in his head the entire time. So it's definitely his point of view, and there's other characters, his father and his sister, that are involved in the story, and it's just odd. It's just odd. There's sort of this overlying other theme of how the government is controlling them, lying to them, and they've convinced them that it's not safe to walk outside without an umbrella because birds will attack you. But the ridiculousness of something like that, but it is perpetuated, and it's told, and then it just becomes believed and common knowledge sort of thing. So there is that element of you know, the rules and the laws and who makes them, and who and you know, are they really telling you the truth? So it was interesting. I would give it 3.5 stars. Yeah, so it just, I don't know what it wasn't what I expected, but I don't know I think I was expecting more horror, more I don't know, maybe I expected like a point of view of the people that were getting eaten. You didn't get that. So, and they were treating them like cattle, but these were not cattle. They were people. So I would have liked to had that point of view as well. It was not a long book. I think it could have taken, I think we could have had, we could have had another point of view from one of these people that are getting slaughtered. So I finished that one. Then we are on to Crazy Rich Asians, and I listened to this. I did not read it. And so I finished the audiobook, and it was good. I have the next two physical books. And so it leaves right on not a cliffhanger, but it leaves right on where you know the next one is going to pick up. And, so it was good. I don't know. I'm not like super excited to pick up the next ones because I think it's just going to be more of the lifestyle that is so far away from my own that it's, it's sort of fun to hear the gossip. It's fun to follow along, but it's so different and it's so, over the top. So it was cute. I would give it a 3-star. And like I said, that's not bad. It's just that I liked it, but I wasn't crazy about it. So finished that. And then since we finished The Magician's Elephant, we had to find another book. And this one is a spooky book. And she wanted to read this, Follow Me. I think we have the other ones, Scare Me, Bury Me, Haunt Me, because these are my older daughter's older books. And she very much likes the spooky reads. This is about a little boy. He's probably in elementary school, almost middle school age. But they moved from New York, him and his family. It's just him as an only child with his parents. They moved from New York, an apartment to this mansion out. And I don't know if it's still New York and it's just out in the country, like New York City to more rural, new house, new town, new nightmare. I don't think they actually said where it was, but I kind of think it's still in New York. But anyway, it's like a mansion and it is on top of a hill. It's sort of, away from everything. And he sees this little girl with a teddy bear, as an apparition. And, it scares him and he does not tell his parents. He is at that age. So he's a little boy at the age where he's trying to act older. He doesn't want to be scared anymore. He doesn't want his mommy to tuck him in. I don't have boys. So at what age does that start? 11, 12. So he doesn't say anything to his parents. And then he invites two classmates over, two friends, and they proceed to tell him like, oh, your house is haunted. And, the people before you, they don't last long and there was people murdered here and all this kind of stuff. But he's like, oh, it's not real. And he's, but he's scared. So we started reading this and this is not a good bedtime reading book. My daughter's 12 and she's into it. She's very interested and she likes it and she doesn't want me to stop. We read 3-4 chapters at a time because she wants to keep going. But then she's like, So we may need to read this like right when she gets home, sort of during homework time and for the reading and pick something much, much lighter for bedtime reading because it is scaring her. So, but we're reading this. I am making progress on Cloud Cuckoo Land. I am at page 407. I have started to enjoy and get into the character storylines. At first it was overwhelming because it was just a lot of different storylines and I just felt like we were jumping so quickly. But once you start to figure out their storylines, you can jump quicker because you're like, okay, I got a couple of pages for this one and I get to know what's going on and you bop back and forth. And I'm really interested to see how they all intersect. My least favorite character still is Constance. She's sort of in the future. She is, she's isolated by herself, and she's a young girl. And she doesn't know what's going on, but she has for her companion and as her teacher and her everything, Sybil. And Sybil is like a computer that she talks to in the walls, it's not like a robot in front of her or anything like that. It's just, it 3D prints food. It teaches her, she can talk to Sybil. And that character is, I don't know. I'm not loving it. But the other characters, I really liked Omir, but his story is sad, and I was very sad about him. And then we have Zeno, who is basically in the beginning the librarian that's putting on this play for the children, the Cloud Cuckoo Land book. And so it's like his past and then present. We're getting some glimpses of when he was, and then, Seymour. And so they kind of go together. Seymour and Zeno, they interact in the library. And then we've got Anna and Omir. They are in the same physical town area proximity. They're near each other. Where I am in the book, I feel like they're going to run into each other at some point. They're going to somehow interact. And then you have Constance, who's just on her own. And so the stories are interesting. But it took me 3/4 of the way through the book to get to where I'm like, okay. So it's not what I thought it was going to be, but I will finish it. I will. So we've got Cloud Cuckoo Land. And then this is also, I'm not reading the physical book. This is our Audio Miles book, Memoirs of a Geisha. I have started it. I really need to get walking a lot more because I've only walked a couple of miles. And so I've gotten, a little bit into the story, and it's still very early, her childhood before she became a geisha, and her parents and her sister. And on the cover, I did notice that her eyes were very light, and she does talk about that. She has sort of gray eyes like her mother, which is very unusual. And so still very much early in the book. But so working on that for my Audio Miles. Yeah, so it's been a good reading week. It's always nice to finish up what you're working on and move on to the next. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I will be reading.